And I live in Nofe Elon. Nofe Elon is actually Shalabim, and that means that we were all together with about 2,000 other people that came here to the main grass in Kibbutz Shalabim. We spent the evening in the funeral of Daniel Morris. And that's one of 45 funerals that took place over the last couple of days, Erev Shabbat and Sunday. And it's, you wake up in the morning and you smile, and then you slowly remember what's been going on here for the last 3 days. So that's difficult. And there's a very strong sense that people are not alone, that this has been crossing the Jewish world, and the grief and frustration and sorrow, and that people are at least, you can't change anything, but you can put your shoulder under it to help carry it, all of us together. So
this was a real trauma on top of the trauma of COVID. And, it's as if we came out of one and we were ready to celebrate and be joyous. And this is a real trauma. And we know that with trauma, everyone reacts differently. Some people want to talk, some people, it's hard to talk for them. And the main thing is really what you said, to be there for each other and to be supportive and just to be mindful. Some kids are going to want to talk in 3 months. Some people are going to want to talk tomorrow. And it was really a trauma for Am Yisrael, for parents, for kids, for communities. And
I actually realized that we were standing in the boys from the gap year programs from yeshivas all over the country, and the girls from the seminaries. They all came for whoever chose to come. Nobody was forced to come, but they were all given the opportunity to come to the funeral. And it was looking at these, 18-year-old Americans, mostly Americans, overseas students. And for the vast majority of them, it was the first funeral they ever attended in their life. And something nice about it, that not the occasion itself, but that you managed to get to 18 or 19 without attending a funeral. In Israel, it doesn't often happen, but it's also a very difficult experience, and these are very young people, and there's a lot of growing up to do. Growing up is not all bad. I mean, it's something the word growth is relevant there.
What would you say to the families of these students?
The ones that are, it's difficult to say something in a general sense. For me, it was reminiscent of two experiences. One was right there on that same grass with the same very, very large population, was where Naftali's Levaya came from. So it was a little bit too much deja vu for comfort. But what much more than that, I felt was the experience of losing Ezra Schwartz. I think that must be 6 years ago. I hope I'm not mistaken. And maybe less.
It was the student, I think.
Right, he was a student in Ashreinu, a one-year program in a yeshiva program in Israel, and it was a terror attack, unlike this time. But then I went to meet with his classmates in Ashreinu, and I remember speaking to them and realizing, how difficult this is, and how far into their life they're going to be carrying this experience. But also, after spending quite a while with them, taping this video for just like a WhatsApp message for their parents, saying, I met your kids. They're um, they're they're okay. They will be okay. They're going through something very difficult, but they're surrounded by so much staff, so many caring, wise people that are trying to help them go through whatever it is, to the extent of their comfort level, to speak and to share, and and you can't promise anything to anybody, but for the most part they'll be okay. They're resilient, they have strength, they have a whole lot of inner resources that come in at such situations. And I met them and I spent time with them so I could, calm their parents. These were 2,000 amazing people, out of which were a few hundred young students. Um, I didn't speak to each of them personally, but I do know that they're surrounded by staff. They're not being left alone for a minute. They're processing. They're going. They, like, on the psychological level, on the spiritual level, and on the Torah level, and just the social level of speaking about things. So as a psychologist, you should know nobody can promise anything, but really they stood there, they sang together, they had a community experience of strengthening each other. After all the eulogies, everybody was standing and singing and deriving strength from the group, from the nation, from the community. So I think they'll be okay.